Good evening, and welcome to our outdoor drive-through Christmas play. My name is Mark Mallory, and I'm the pastor here at Union Friends Church. Christmas is such a busy time, so we've decided to bring the real meaning of Christmas to you in a way that will barely slow you down. The true meaning of Christmas is worth remembering. To recall it, you don't have to spend any money, you don't have to be stressed or rushed. The story of Jesus coming to earth so long ago is a beautiful constant in our lives, something that has never changed. The message of Jesus doesn't evolve or update. It's something that you can count on, something that you can believe. Tonight's play is called The Innkeeper's Son. This story takes place in Bethlehem, where Caesar Augustus ordered all the people to be taxed. Everyone was required to return to their hometown to be counted for the census. As you can imagine, Bethlehem was bustling with people. Everyone was frantic to find a place to stay. Our story focuses on a young boy named Abel, who happened to be the son of the local innkeeper. Unbeknownst to him, he is about to meet a very special baby. Thank you for supporting our innovative outdoor drive-through Christmas play. It makes it easier than ever to celebrate the real reason for Christmas. We hope you enjoy this play entitled The Innkeeper's Son. From all of us here at Union Friends Church, we wish you a very Merry Christmas.
Our story takes place long ago in an inn and a stable, both owned by a kind man. This inn had been in this man's family for generations, and just like his father before him, he had every intention of passing this inn over to his son, Abel. There was little doubt in his mind that his son would carry on the family business and do so very well. It was easy to see how much Abel loved his father. Any onlooker would notice how the boy was eager and willing at whatever task his father had for him. Abel made it his whole life to aid in his father's duties and to help make his life easy. For Abel knew that the life of an innkeeper was no easy task. It was hard to fill rooms, harder still to keep tenants happy. But today, perhaps, could be different. A census was taking place right in their city. Already there had been several knocks at the door, and both Abel and his father had to stop what they were doing to answer for yet another family or person looking for a place to stay. They had just filled the last room, and now they had to sadly tell people, sorry, no room. At last there was a moment for Abel and his father to breathe a little. The guests were in their rooms resting, and it would be some time before meals had to be served. But there was one more task for the boy left to do. At the very back of the inn, far away from the noise and clamor of guests, was a room dedicated to someone very special to Abel's father, his wife. Very few in the town spoke about the tragic circumstances of the kind woman who had become very ill shortly after the birth of her son. What ailed her no one seemed to know, but it left her bedridden and a shell of the woman she had once been. Even years later, she had yet to speak a single word to her husband or son. Yet Abel, ever so faithful, had helped to care for the mother he barely knew. Every day he would bring her meals and feed her tenderly, giving her the loving care he wished so much he could have received from her. And Abel would pray that one day maybe they would earn enough money to find her a physician. Maybe the proper healer could bring back his mother to him. Sometimes he would see families, see the mothers taking care of their children, kissing their heads, wiping away tears, things that Abel himself had never experienced, but craved for so much. Abel's thoughts about his mother were interrupted by yet another guest seeking a room for the night. His father had just barely managed to tell the man that there was no room and was about to shut the door on him, but the man wasn't going to take no for an answer. This now piqued Abel's interest, for even he could tell that the man was very wealthy. His clothes were of the finest silk, and his headdress jingled with the little gold coins attached to it. They had never had a guest like him before, and probably never would again. Abel stopped in his work to listen to the man offer his father a huge bag of gold shekels. He held it up before Abel's father with a huge smile on his face, as if knowing this would be the temptation the innkeeper needed. Yet Abel's father still shook his head no. There was not a single room even for this man in the inn. A thought struck Abel just then, and he quickly pulled on his father's arms to stop him from saying no. In that moment, Abel made the only offer he had and told the man that there was one room for him. Abel's father looked at him in surprise, but almost instantly he understood what his son was offering. Abel, in a great moment of sacrifice, had offered his own room for the stranger. Because Abel knew that with that money they could finally get the help his mother needed. Maybe finally she could be better. Maybe at last he could finally have his mother. The rich man gave the innkeeper the bag of money, and Abel left to show him to his room. Abel's father looked sadly on, feeling as if he had just traded his son for a bag of gold. Abel had completed his duties and then made his bed in the stable. Just as he was about to fall asleep, a light penetrated the stable's darkness. He sat up and peered through the gloom. He saw a man and woman enter the stable. The woman seemed to be in great pain, and Abel quickly realized that she was about to have a baby. Through the long night hours, he assisted as best he could. Finally, the stable was filled with the cries of a newborn baby. Abel was awestruck by the new little life that was now lying in the manger. As he gazed in wonder at the child, the mother said, "His name is Jesus, and he is the Son of God." The father, whose name was Joseph, sensed that Abel had questions about what had just happened. He had learned that the boy had given up his room to a rich man to hopefully save his mother. After hearing this, Joseph saw an opportunity to explain the miracle that had just taken place in the stable. He asked Abel if his sacrifice meant that his mother would certainly be healed. Abel replied that no, he couldn't be certain. Joseph wondered aloud that even if Abel's mother was healed, would she appreciate his sacrifice? Would she even love him? Abel again said he didn't know. Then Joseph asked, "So why did you give up your room?" Abel quickly answered, "Because I love my mother." Actually, that is exactly what God did that night in that humble stable by sending his son. Just because God sent his son to earth did not guarantee that everyone would love him or accept him. In fact, he would face many hardships in this life. But he came anyway because he loved us. And here our story comes to an end. I wish I could tell you Abel's mother was healed and that they all lived happily ever after in the inn. But sadly, that's not how the story ends. What I can tell you is that Abel never forgot what happened that night in the stable. Abel learned about a God who loved his children so much, even though many of them never responded to his love. He would never forget the child who would eventually grow up and pay the ultimate sacrifice for all of us, for Abel, his father, his mother, and yes, even you. He's still waiting with open arms for you to respond to his gift of love.
Here at Union Friends, we want to tell the world about God's amazing gift of love brought through Jesus Christ. We want everyone to know about his amazing sacrifice. The King of Kings left his place of honor in heaven, came to earth to be born in a feed trough, surrounded by shepherds and smelly animals. Why would he do that? Because he loves you. Jesus came to earth for you. He suffered mocking and unbelief, and ultimately, he suffered a cruel death on a cross for you. Think about that. But you may say that you're not worthy. You've done too much to deserve his love. You're right. None of us are worthy of his love, but he still loves us. No matter what you've done, where you've been, God loves you and wants you to live with him forever. He is waiting with outstretched arms, waiting for your response. All you need to do is believe in him and ask him to forgive you for any wrong you've done. If that's something you would like to do, we would love to pray with you this evening. Several others, along with myself, will be waiting at the last tent if you want to pray. Thanks so much for coming to our drive-thru Christmas play. Let us know what you think, and we'd love to see you back next year. Merry Christmas, and may God bless you in your new year of 2023.